All right, this question does not give us a line reference, so that might be a problem. But remember, we can always use the chronology rule here to estimate a line reference using the surrounding questions. Now, I don't think that this is entirely necessary here. They use a very recognizable word, X-ray, so that's something you might be able to just like scan for. But I still think the chronology rule occasionally needs a defender, and so here I'm going to do it. If we look at these surrounding questions, right, we're on number 25. The previous question told us to look at the second paragraph, lines 12 to 19, and the next question tells us to look at lines 29 to 30, and sure enough, I included the second paragraph all the way to line 30, and that's where our answer is. So this is obeying the chronology rule. We might not need it, but it's there, okay? So sometimes we're able to skim for key phrases with these no line reference questions, but not always. And so I want you to know that we can do this other thing. So let's still find the answer now that we know where to look. So what is the purpose of including this? Well, X-ray evidence and density. Okay, so what do they say? The first feature of our structure, which is of biological interest, is that it consists not of one chain but of two. These two chains are both coiled around a common fiber axis. It has often been assumed that since there was only one chain in the chemical formula, there would only be one in the structural unit. However, the density, taken with the X-ray evidence, density, suggests very strongly that there are two. Okay, so it just says that there are two chains. So that's my dumb version of what's going on. There's a lot of other stuff that sounds very scientific here, but the point seems to be that there's two chains and that these are the things that prove it. Let's look at the choices and make sure we don't fall for any traps, though. A, establish that DNA is the molecule that carries the genetic information. Well, that may be true, but that's not the point. It has nothing to do with there being two chains, so that's just random. B, present an alternate hypothesis about the composition of a nucleotide. Well, I don't think so. An alternate to what? I mean, I guess maybe that there's one chain? But it's not a hypothesis. They've come up with evidence. They have, like a real reason to believe it. A hypothesis is like what you do first. It's like a guess. And then you use evidence to prove the hypothesis right. They have the evidence. That's what the X-ray stuff is there for. Nucleotide is also weird. I don't know. That choice just seems random. C, provides support for the author's claim about the number of chains in a molecule of DNA. Yeah, support matches much better. It's evidence. So that seems right. Let's look at D, though. Confirm the relationship between the density of DNA and the known chemical formula of DNA. Well, they're not talking really about the chemical formula, but I'll also point out this word confirm, really strong word, scares me because in science, we rarely have confirmation of anything, right? We have hypotheses, we have support for those hypotheses, but proof, confirmation, those things are hard. We don't get them very often in science, and we don't get them very often in science passages on the SAT. So strong words in general scare me, but this is one that normally comes up, and so it's something you might see yourself, and so it should trigger a warning bell in your head when you see it. It might be right, but it's very, very rare that it's going to be, and we would need evidence of that in the passage. So you probably would have picked C anyway. That's the answer, but I just wanted to talk about that other stuff because, it might help on other questions.